Welcome back to my brand new channel for Grow Women Only. I'm your host, Nikki, and on this show, we talk about love, life lessons, and leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. Ladies, this is my safe space for women, and gentlemen, you are more than welcome to sit in. But the minute you come for my ladies, the minute I come for you, and my block game is strong. Please keep all comments respectful. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk about how to become memorable to a man. How do you become memorable to a man? Now, believe it or not, ladies, if a man is dating, you're not the only one he's seeing, right? 9 times out of 10, he's seeing other women. But if you are on a quest to find a partner, or if you're on a quest to find a husband, or if you are on a quest to find a solid relationship, just know you're going to have competition. There are other women who are trying to do the same thing. So if you feel like you are vying for a high value man, there are a couple things that you can do while resting in your femininity, right? There are a couple things you can do to make yourself memorable without seeming desperate or without even being desperate. Because ladies, whenever you're desperate, that communicates shortage, right? And whenever you're desperate, a man will walk all over you because he sees you as an easy target. So here are some ways to become memorable, but still retain your self-esteem, right? And your standards. The first thing I want to talk about is beauty. Ladies, it is important that you are as pretty as you can be, right? There is a such thing as pretty privilege, and people don't want to talk about it, but it's a very true thing. It's a very real thing. And a lot of times when it comes to men, right, the first thing a man is attracted to is your beauty, right? Another thing I want you to remember too, when you start getting to know men, is understand that you're not going to be everybody's type. But if you are that type, you be the prototype of that type. Like if you are a thick girl, then you be banging, you keep that waist small, you keep those curves together, you keep that face beat in, like you are pristine. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but the cup of tea that you are, make sure you are pristine. Beauty is a couple things. I tell women this all the time. It is hair, it is skin, it is teeth, it is eyes, it is body, right? So you want to put your best foot forward at all times. Be as beautiful as you can be. Do not feel bad in investing in yourself. Like if you have to get a tummy tuck, get a tummy tuck. If you have to get a breast lift, get a breast lift. If you have to lose weight, lose weight. But your job is to be the best version of you at all times. So beauty is number one. Number two, please be feminine. Like femininity is so many things, but femininity more than anything is an essence. You are soft, you are girly, you are pleasant, you are kind, you smell good, you look good, you are supple. These types of things are very important because the more feminine a woman is, the more masculine her man is, right? If a woman is masculine, then she attracts what? Feminine men, right? So that's not what we're trying to do in this channel. We're trying to help you all get the best possible high value mate, right? So you have to understand what high value men like. It is beauty. It is femininity. Learn to rest in your femininity. The next thing I want to talk about is turn heads. Yes. Raise his sexual market value. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, if I raise his sexual market value, then everybody else is going to chase him. Okay, but the thing is this, nobody wants what nobody else wants, right? The thing is, when you are on his arm, you need to be stunning. Other men should be looking at you and checking you out and wondering what this guy did to get this, right? And the reason that you want to raise his sexual market value is because men show their status in a couple of ways. One is through their career, what they do. The second is their home. The third is their car. The fourth is their woman, right? That is how men communicate to other men their status. So you want to be be a head turner. You want to be banging. You want to look good. You want to be the girl that he can take anywhere and impress his friends with. So ladies, please make sure you are turning heads. Find shoes and clothes that accentuate the positives and play down the negatives. So for me, I'm very, very curvy. So I look very good in dresses. Like pants are kind of hard for me to wear because I always have the gap in the back. But since I'm a curvy girl, I play up my curves. Figure out your best positive qualities and find ways to accentuate them. The next thing I want to talk about is 4, be genuine. Be genuine. Now, you don't have to be communicating all of your strategies, right? You don't have to tell this man every thought that you have, but in conversation, at least be genuine. Listen, understand his point of view. Let it be a ping pong thing, like throw different ideas back and forth. Communicate to him that you could be a backbone without being a backbone. Like the thing about men is men compartmentalize. They think of one thing at a time, but women, we're dynamic and we can do many things at once. So even though you are listening and understanding his viewpoint and remembering the things that are important to him, right? He's communicating to you his values. He's communicating to you his wishes and his desires. Always offer something that you think could be of help to him. If he is going through a different problem, maybe help him strategize. Maybe give him a book that you think would be awesome. Maybe suggest an author. There are so many ways you can communicate your genuinity to people. And you don't have to be malicious or sneaky or what's the other word? Withholding, right? You have to tell them everything that's on your mind. You're not supposed to, because it is a ping pong thing where you're filling each other out. You let him get into you before you even get into him. But please be genuine in how you express your emotions, right? I just think it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. So be genuine. The next thing is number 5, no attachment. Now, I know people are going to be like, but Nikki, you're asking me to do all these things where I'm attached, but I'm not supposed to be. Yes, no attachment. And the reason I say no attachment is because when you are attached to something, you're attached to the outcome, right? You force. And that in itself is masculine. You're supposed to let it flow. Flow is feminine. You have no attachment. So for example, to me, no attachment is if you go on a date with a guy and say you went on a date with him on Friday night and he doesn't call you until Tuesday. Okay, you have other things to do. You're not running behind this guy. You're not chasing him, because that communicates being desperate, and being desperate equals easy to men. No attachment. Or maybe he does something that is displeasing to you, and instead of going off, you communicate your standards, and that's that. You don't bitch, you don't curse, you don't cry, you don't get emotional. No attachment. Because the thing is, when I say no attachment, you're good regardless the result, right? I feel like it's like this. Have you ever been looking for a job when you didn't have a job? And it was so hard for you to find a job because you were so attached to the outcome. It was forced. You were pressed, you were upset, you were crazy. It's all you thought about. Like you were just crazy about finding a job because you didn't have one. So you put all this energy, which kind of repelled it away from you, right? But when you practice no attachment, it's like when you have a job and you're looking for a job, you don't care either way, right? And the reason there is power in not caring, right? Because it allows that thing to flow to you. And the thing is, it's like, so say you have a job, you're looking for a job, you're just kind of looking around. You're just poking around, poking around, poking around. And if something comes to you, okay. If it doesn't, okay, because you're already content in the position that you are. So I want you to be content with who you are as a person, so that you can practice no attachment. Like a lot of girls get screwed because they're lonely and they're desperate and they're so pressed to please, and they're doing and they're proving. All of that is masculine. You're supposed to sit back with your pretty self and do nothing. It's supposed to be very easy, very simple. That is how you practice no attachment. So we'll go through the 5 things again. How do you communicate? How do you impress yourself on a man in a feminine, girly way? Beauty. femininity, turn heads by raising his sexual market value, be genuine, and practice no attachment. So I hope this helps, and you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Bye.